You're listening to Ernestly Speaking, the only weekly podcast that covers friends, foes, and anything that goes. And now, for your badass host, Ernest Owens. And we're back with a special edition of Ernestly Speaking with your host, Ernest Owens, myself. Well, happy Black History Month, happy February. And I am recording this podcast live in Los Angeles. I'm in Hollywood for what was just probably the greatest Grammys I've witnessed in years. Yes, I am recording this podcast after experiencing what was one of the most exciting nights in music history in a very long time. Three's a charm. This was my third consecutive time going to the Grammys. My first time I went was in 2023 when I was ready for Renaissance to win Album of the Year. And I did not think that, there would be hope. I don't know. I just was like, after Lemonade, I was like, well, it's just what can she do? And then she came out with Cowboy Carter, and Beyonce is now an Album of the Year recipient. 35 Grammys. Over 90-something nominations. She's the most nominated. She's the most winning. And now she finally has the Album of the Year Grammy. But before we get into that, I want to talk about my week. I've been doing this, this has been the third consecutive year. I always do a special edition episode just to talk about the Grammys experience, all the parties, the celebrities, all the tea, everything that was going on, because it just deserves an episode like I always do. And of course, you all will get a general episode from me at midnight on Tuesday. So today is Monday, so you're getting this episode, and then you'll get the general episode, of course, that you all been waiting for, because we got to get into some of the stuff that's been happening this past week, because as you all saw, January ended with quite a bang. But February, so far, so good. Knocking on this wooden table, we're going to keep it black and keep it great, okay? But you all will definitely get an episode 4 of season 8, which will be coming to you all the following day. And so, I'm keeping up with my schedule and my tracking, but I just knew that my in real time reaction, the night of the Grammys, would mean so much more than if I did not give you all the real time and energy and excitement. So here I am. And we're gonna talk about, the week and what was building up. Did I have any signs or inklings that she was gonna win? How did she win? Why do I think she won? What happened with the other Grammy categories? What did you see? What did you not see? We're gonna talk about it all. This is the special edition episode of Ernestly Speaking, Grammys 2025. Let's go. So Wednesday, I arrived, and this is the longest I've ever spent in LA for Grammys weekend. So the first year, I want to say 2023, I came on a Friday, which was just too late. I feel like if you're going to experience the Grammys week, you really do want to be here for a period of time. You have to be invested. You have to maximize the full experience, because these parties and these industry parties, all these events, you start to see different people, and you want to build the network and relationships, and people give you some tea. People tell you about parties that you didn't know about, and you just kind of meet some people. You kind of follow them, and they follow you throughout the whole process, but you really don't get that if you come super, super late. So late, in my opinion, is if you come Friday, the Grammys is on Sunday. So, So last year I came on Thursday. That wasn't that bad, but I did feel like, I was spending Thursday was cool, but I remember just feeling like I was coming off the flight, so I didn't really get to really be up and ready fully to take advantage of Thursday as much. But it was still a nice amount of time, right? But this year I was like, I got to come in a little early. I need to really maximize the experience. And so I got here around Wednesday afternoon, which allowed me to go to some events Wednesday night. Of course, I came in, took a really, really good nap. I slept on the plane, but I also took a nap when I got here, got settled, went to my first big event Wednesday night, and then everything started grooving. And the good thing is, I definitely took some advice on like how to avoid jet lag, and there's like a science to this, like how to sleep and don't eat this or don't, whatever. Like it's like a whole way to avoid like massive jet lag on trips. And so I have learned that previously, and I'm even learning it. I'm gonna have to learn it later on this month in February because I'm going to be heading across the Atlantic. So I'm getting ready for that. But that's a journey. So it's just really big to just make sure you stay hydrated, but you also just get your time clock. So my body clock and time clock wasn't that bad, which was a good thing. So did all the things. I know a lot of y'all be wanting to know, like, how do you do this and how do you maintain? Oh, baby, we schedule time to sleep. We schedule time to relax. We take little breaks. I don't like that whole go go go. Did I eat anything? I always carry some snacks. There's always going to be water in the mix. Like I just will not work myself like that. There's people that take pride in that. It's not me. So Wednesday was a very chill day. I was getting myself warmed up. My one of my good besties, John Pierre, who I always go to the Grammys with, he's a member of the Recording Academy, and so it's always good to have people that like he goes back and forth between LA and Philly. He's from Philly, Temple alum, but he also goes to LA a lot and does a lot of work there. So knowing somebody that kind of knows the lay of the land has always just been a great way for me to navigate because I'm grown. I can get around, but it's just nice to have eyes and ears and just always have somebody with you that you really know because this LA, okay? Just this is LA. Um, so what was interesting, what I will say about the weekend in general LA right now, because the wildfires have definitely been in the news, and of course everybody's been wondering how it's going. LA is strong. They're staying strong. They're staying resilient. They're staying optimistic. There is a lot of just coordinated efforts to provide resources. I mean, the shelters are overstocked with food and resources. Like people are really showing up and showing out. And the time in which I came to LA and the Grammys start, I think was the best, was like a really good time. I feel like if it would have been a week before, that would have felt up in there. I feel like they knew the right time. Like them keeping the show, I think was smart. It was a lot of controversy. People was like, oh, there shouldn't be a show. There shouldn't be none of any of it. But it needs like art needs to happen. It needs to uplift people. There is a sense in LA, like LA wants to not be so much in the shadows because they got a lot of big things coming to LA in the next couple of years. I mean, you got what the Olympics, you got like I believe a World Cup, some games. They got a lot of big events coming, and I think in many ways, for a major, like LA is the second largest city in America. New York City's number one, LA's number two. To be clear, major American cities cannot just take a month or 2 months off the grid and just say, we can't do anything. We're just, they can't do that. And to be fair, there's cities like New Orleans that, listen, New Orleans have gone through hell and back, and they bounce back because their economy and the people that work there, a lot of those people being black, those vendors and things, they can't afford to just say, you know what, yeah, we just going to take off and cancel everything. They can't do that, in those cities like New Orleans and other places. So with LA, with all the money, the resources and things they have, it would have been questionable to some folks if they just would have just said, we're not doing anything for 2 months in the name of the fires. Like cities like that want to get on their feet as much as possible. It's not to say they're forgetting about the issue. It's just that they know that if they want to keep opportunities, keep jobs, keep people afloat, because a lot of people can't afford, yes, there were people, a lot of celebrities and famous people that we know that were impacted by those fires, but there was a lot of other people in black communities and neighborhoods that they need to have some hope. They need to have access to resources, access to joy, access to something that's going to keep the city afloat. And so for the Grammys, the Recording Academy to keep the Grammys this weekend did a lot to, I think, raise the morale. Like this is the first major, major flagship event that took place. And it was very different from the previous Grammy weeks I went to. It definitely felt different. It definitely was scaled down to a bit. A lot of big parties that initially were going to happen got canceled because for various reasons, people just didn't feel like celebrating. Some people, were impacted by the fires and, quite frankly, had other bigger priorities, which made sense. But what I found interesting though was that coming into LA, a lot of parties were getting canceled like that week before. Like everybody was canceling different parties. The Recording Academy had canceled certain events and parties that they had. A lot of events turned into charity events. And, if you was coming down here, the goal was to be charitable. So the first night I went to a couple of events that were just nice networking events, mixer events. These were events that would traditionally be like cocktail bars, huge receptions. But this time around, because of budgeting and because they wanted to turn it into a charity event, there were more paid ticketed events. There were with proceeds going to support people who was impacted by the wildfires. Or there were events where they said, look, we got a space, but it's a cash bar compared to the wine and dines and things that people are used to. So there was a lot of shifting, but nonetheless, I had a good time. I came to party. I was feeling generous, and it didn't hit me much, to be honest. A lot of the events that I had went to were like already list events, pre-registered events that I did. They asked for donations to help. That wasn't, I always come out with money and things. And so it was a shift in that direction. But the good thing is that it was for charity versus people getting real funny, like, oh, we're doing this. It was very much so legit events. Now, LA always notorious, which I want to say this year wasn't too much quote unquote scammery. And about scammery is that there's a lot of people that during Grammy weekend will throw all types of events during the Grammys to get, and claim it's this party. Oh, so-and-so's having an after party. So-and-so's having this. This person's going to make this appearance. And you don't really know what you're getting into and gets a little scammy. It wasn't too bad this year. This year I felt like everything I went to, it was like certified. Like I didn't play around with any random last minute parties, or you get a text message and somebody's like, oh, this where the party going to be. So-and-so. And it's like, this is a bunch of bullshit in my ear. And I don't want to, I just, listen, I just was like, let me go to stuff that I'm not going to regret going to, especially given that these were events where, you have to buy tickets or you have to make a donation. So it was like, I was very mindful, like this year I wanted to go to legit events and not just be just popping up to stuff, because it was a lot of that in the previous years. But this year it was like everything felt more intentional. And so that felt good. So Wednesday was chill. I made my first appearance. This year, I always have a theme in my outfits. So every year I always do something that's a trend. So last year, every outfit I had my chest out. I didn't have any, which was just so controversial, which is just hilarious. Because I would just look at some people, I'm just like, okay, what? Like there are men that go out completely shirtless or wear tanks or wear something. And for whatever reason, there is like a genderism that happens. I don't know, with queer people, maybe straight men get it. I don't know. But I feel like it was some really interesting comments being said about my outfit. I was like, oh, you got your titties out. Excuse me. Okay. Okay. And it's interesting who said it. I won't name names and get into it. But like, okay, guys. And I mean guys. Okay, guys. And these are straight guys. Okay. The body policing is wow. And it's crazy because it's like, oh goodness, heaven forbid I have my chest out. Not that, I'm all about free and nipple for women. I'm not policing women's bodies. But you would just think that it was explicit content. And mind you, this year I wore mesh. So there was no actual skin. But my goodness, you would have thought, I was Bianca Senatorial, whatever her name is. Y'all, we're going to talk about her, Kanye's wife in parentheses or girlfriend, whatever. That drama, there's some tea unbound. There's some tea that y'all don't know about. But you would think I was out here. I'm just like, but and I love LA because when I go out of town, I love to try new fashions. I love to wear clothes that just would not necessarily make sense to the things I go to in Philly. Like in Philly, I don't feel like I go to any events that really allow me to like really dress up. And if I did, it just would be off-putting because no one else is dressing with that level of energy. So it's just like you don't want to go somewhere and be dressed really, really nice or dressed really different at an event where everybody's dressing. Because everything I go to mostly is like, black tie. It's not wild. And so it's like these are clothes that like make sense in LA and make sense for Grammys, but would not make sense in like everyday life. Or I could, right? But I don't want to be that person. No shade. But like, as people that go to events that like, yeah, they're dressed really nice and they're really decked out. But it's also kind of like a distraction to the vibe of what everyone else is wearing. Whereas like, okay, this is nice, but it's like a little too over the top for what this event is. So I'm always big on like reading the room, dressing, not to say conformity, but just understanding the time and place. And so a lot of the outfits that I wore to the Grammys week are clothes that I don't really know where I could wear them in Philly. Or at least for the most of the stuff that I wear in Philly, I'm like, is it worth me dressing up like this for this? No. Who's gonna see me? Is there Getty Images out there? Like, is there a red carpet, like a real red carpet? Like, I don't think so. Like, I don't know. I just really do think, when I go to LA, I dress out because there's going to be a scene. And other people are going to dress to impress. So you want to dress good, like. And there's no shade to Philly. I love Philly. Like Philly's home. So let me be very clear. This is not a diss at Philly. It's just, you know, what y'all saw me wear. Where can I wear that in Philly? That's not Philly Fashion Week. Because Philly Fashion Week, when I used to go to that a lot, like, yeah, I would get a little experimental at Philly Fashion Week. I feel like that's probably the only time in Philly where I've really gotten really experimental outside of like my birthday. Like I'll dress up real nice for my birthday. There's outfits I wore from like for my birthday. Oh, I'll get real cute for that. But most of the time I'm in a tux. I'm in a blazer. You might get a nice shirt out of me or something, but I just don't go to him. So it's just fun to be in LA because you can wear the clothes and no one's like, people will buy into whatever you wear, whatever you serving. They don't know you, so they like, this is who you are. Okay, versus Philly, it'd be, ooh, why you wearing all that? Blah, 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 blah. So it's just different. But I really love my fits I wore. Definitely was in trend. Like people are not wearing super tight clothes anymore. People want a little bit loose, more casual, more comfort. That was the LA style. Like I didn't really see anybody just wearing everything cut down and pared down. So I just really everything I wore had an intention. There was a theme. There was understanding, and that was what I was excited about the most. Like every fit I wore was made for me. Okay, like my girl Money Long, made for you, made for me. Um, Also, the patterns, the colors, the looks, different moods. It was just the mesh, everything mesh. Oh, I love mesh. Y'all gonna be sick of me. Y'all might catch me wearing more mesh this year. I'm really into the see-through mesh look, especially when you just don't want to wear like a traditional button-up shirt. And so like I'm just never into like suit and tie unless I have to. Like now that I'm in Greek life, I'm alpha. We a suit and tie. That's what we gotta do. But when I'm not in suit and tie mode, if I can replace it, I think I now found my favorite new replacement. It's gonna be a mesh top. I'm gonna like get it like a little see-through and different meshes. Like and everything doesn't have to be the same typical see-through. It could be like a little bit of glitter on it, some light, like something. But like I experimented with it this week, and I'm like, that might be my thing for this year. I like a little tease. So fashion was all there. Wednesday was nice. I went to like an open mic night for artists and musicians who were indie artists that were doing their thing. I went there. I was from my good bestie, my lit brother, Jamarcus Henderson, letting them know about his music. Going to these events. They having open mic events, artist events. They telling people to put songs in track lists. I've been pushing some of his music. One of my favorite songs that has been resonating with the crowds is "Tears Fall Down," which is from his album Atonement. You can get that on Spotify. You can get that on all the streaming, Apple, whatever, all streaming platforms. But it's Jamarcus Henderson, our beloved lip brother. But his music is available. So when I was out, people was looking at me like, "Are you an artist?" I say no, but I'm besties with a really great artist, and this is his name. Follow his Spotify, listen to his music. So I was just being an ambassador for my bestie, cause people be out here promoting these mainstream artists, but I love me some Cowboy Carter. But Beyonce's a billionaire, child. She don't even promote her music as hard. I was there on a mission to promote an artist that I know, that I listen to aggressively. When I'm not listening to Beyonce, when I'm not listening to, you know, um, Billie Eilish, who I really love. We're going to talk about her later on the show. But when I think about other artists, when I'm not listening to them, I'm listening to my friend. I listen to my bestie. I be like, who else do I be listening to? People ask me who I listen to. I'm like, oh, you don't know him, but like I listen to blah 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 blah. And I'll name and say, who's that? I'll say, oh, him. Da, da, da. But that's just what it is. Cause I find his music more relatable because I listen to them songs and I know what them songs are about. So when you know the artist and you know what they about, you can love even more. You don't gotta play no guessing game. Like, oh, he talking about so and so, so and so. Oh, this is about this time in his life. I was there. So you gotta stand for your friends. You gotta stand for your friends. So since y'all all here being knows about the Grammys and want to support artists, you got local black queer artists right there in Philadelphia that you can listen to their music. It's a mix of hip hop, R&B, dance. It's fusions. It's versatile. So definitely, stream Jamarcus Henderson on all the streaming platforms and go get your life. Okay, Jamarcus Henderson, go get your life and listen to that music. Since y'all be acting like y'all don't like music nowadays, which is true. A lot of music nowadays is up and down all around, and it's not that much good stuff out. So whenever there is good music, support it. But my shameless free plug aside, it was a really good karaoke night. It was not karaoke night, open mic night. It was not karaoke. But shout out to those artists who performed. It was really nice. That was a Wednesday night, and I was just hopping around places. Now Thursday was getting. This is when things was building up, because Thursday was when I call all the arrivals, all the people start coming into town, and I went to this really great place for food. Let me just say, what is it like? Okay, so maybe I'm not trying to look. LA has went through a lot, so I'm not trying to drag LA like this. But the eating habits in LA is interesting. Y'all just like to walk around and eat fries all day, and I just be like, is it because the prices are high? What is it with y'all? Because people in LA just be eating fries, just eating fries. Like that's just what they eat. Everybody just be, I don't know, it's a thing. I just noticed it this time around, but like people just be going out just ordering fries by themselves and just eating fries. And I'm just like, did you eat anything today? They're like, oh, I'm gonna get some fries. Fries, that's it? I don't know. That was just something that stood out to me a lot in LA. Like everybody just be getting fries. There don't be anything else. I'm like, is it because the cost in LA is expensive? Because I did look at some stuff in LA, but LA is interesting. There's places where stuff is like extremely high, and then there's places where stuff is super affordable but also good. It's like hit and miss in LA. You don't know where to go or where to find. But that took me out for sure. Some of the trends for sure that I saw. Um, but yeah, it was quite the moment. And I was like, excited to see what was coming, what was going to become. But we're taking it step by step. So while I'm telling you this, Beyonce done changed her profile photo. Beyonce is promoting the Cowboy Carter tour. She just announced cities: Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, London, Houston, DC, Vegas, Atlanta, and Paris. Um, no Philly, it seems like. She just named the cities. She hasn't named the dates. So it's looking like I'm going to be in a situation where I'm going to have to like get tickets, book a hotel, and figure this out because this looks like it's going to be like a cute little tour. It's not a world tour. I've noticed that she has not said world tour, which is also very telling. Like there's no conversation about world tour. It just seems like she just named Paris. But I digress. This is just breaking news that just came to my desk while I was recording this podcast because the world is on fire right now. So fries. Everybody's just on fries right now, and listen. I'm not against fries. I'm just like, there's no other things to eat. Like, what are we doing? So nonetheless, I went to this great place called Carney's. Carney's is a train. Now, if you're in LA or you've been in LA, you might have heard this place, but it's right it's in West Hollywood. It's a whole train, but it's an immobile train. It's not mobile anymore, but it's the inside of a big, nice train, like a diner style. And they serve hot dogs and hamburgers, and they're really into their chili dogs. And the food, I mean, it was it's not like a main course dinner, but like they serve like really good burgers, hamburger, like the stuff was like everything was like under $10. Chili dogs, they had really good like drinks. It was just a vibe and very affordable, but really, really good. And no, I did not go to In-N-Out Burger. I went to In-N-Out Burger years ago when I went to LA. Like I want to say back in 2019 when I got a chance to interview and party and meet the wonderful, incredible Aquarius known as Oprah Winfrey. Clearly Aquariuses love me. I love Aquariuses. My husband's an Aquarius. And a couple of my really good best friends are too. They got birthdays coming up this week. Oh my goodness. Pace myself. But yeah, it's a lot of things. But In-N-Out Burger, was not crazy about it when I went. I think it's overrated. And I don't know if you all know this, but their In-N-Out Burger is expanding beyond just LA. So in Houston, they have In-N-Out Burgers around Houston, Katy. And my younger brothers went and they were like, eh. And I was trying to tell them, listen, there's a Whataburger. You have Whataburger. There is no reason to go to In-N-Out Burger when there's Whataburger. And I hope to goodness that In-N-Out does not come to Philly. Do not come to Philly. Stay home. There's already Shake Shack, which is, in my opinion, okay. It's not horrible, but it's not great. I'm not crazy about Shake Shack, but people like Shake Shack. I'm not crazy about it. Guys is where it's at for me. I like Guys. Get me the little burger. Get me the toppings. No ketchup, no mayo. No ketchup, no mustard, of course. Ugh. But everything else, fine. Light mayo, fine. All the toppings, beautiful. And I just want the little cheeseburger with the little fries because over there, what is little to them is actually average for regular people. So if people are out here getting the regular burger, it is like literally double, like a two smashed patties, and all this. That's just way too. And them fries, yeah, the little fry and the little cheeseburger is the perfect portion size, and it will be under $20. So when I be hearing people talk about, oh, Five Guys cost $5,000, no, that's because you're getting the big ass burger, the burger, the cheeseburger, which is double stacked and all that, and you get them big ass fries is huge. You'll need all that. But this place, Carney's, was incredible. Really nice place, good food, good vibe. It was a really good time. So I really enjoyed that. And there was some cute industry parties Thursday night. I'm trying to remember which night was which because there was a lot of events going on, lots of parties, industry parties, a lot of stuff that was just very like in the know. Um, what did I do Friday night? I'm trying to remember because I remember my Saturday night like it was yesterday. Friday night must have been because Thursday night was chill. Thursday night was a couple of parties because I remember. Let me backtrack. Backtrack. Thursday was the Fire Aid concert. That's all that happened on Thursday. What I just talked about was Friday, because Friday was full of parties. Okay, Thursday was the Fire Aid concert. This was the benefit concert for people who were impacted by the wildfires. Every celebrity and their mother was performing. Gaga closed out the night. Katy Perry performed in her big one. Olivia Rodrigo performed. Gracie Abrams performed. Red Hot Chili Peppers. Alanis Morissette. Oh goodness, Green Day. Lil Baby. Not to be confused with The Baby because The Baby is canceled. But everybody performed. Oh, everybody did their big one. It was a star-studded affair. Like everybody and their mother was there. Hmm. I had good seats. I had decent seats. The seats up in there was like, listen, to be on the floor was like $5,000. I was not on the floor, but I had some good seats where I could see. The tickets in there was something serious. I was at the Intuit Dome, but this is somebody who I went to college with, who was in LA that went to the concert, so it's cool to catch up with them and see them. Shout out to Nikki, she was sweet. But it was a great show. That was a really great tribute concert. The mic was on, everybody showed up, Pink performed. Everybody was performing that night. It was a nice concert. Everybody showed up on time. Billie Eilish performed. That is right. Yes, Billie Eilish had took me away. She had sung Birds of a Feather. Oh my goodness. Yes, Billie was there. But it was a good night. It was a good night. It was a good show. The sets were too low. Everybody performed like two songs, 2 to 3 songs, and did their big one, and then it kept moving. But it was a really good show overall. I really did love it. It was a great cause. Thousands of people were there, heart wrenching stories. There were some great presenters and announcers. Quinta Brunson was there. She made an announcement. She showed up. But it was great. It was just really great to see the city. I mean, again, another opportunity to just put the city on the map and really show love. And LA needed it. Like LA definitely was loved. Everyone, there's just been so many good, people was in good spirits, and it was very touching. So I was really happy to be able to go to that show. All the proceeds from the tickets went to support. So it was like everything was so generous. Everything was for a good cause. So definitely enjoyed that show. Friday night, now I'm back on schedule because I try to remember each of my nights. Friday night was a bunch of industry parties. So we did stop at Carney's and got the food. We was at the Sunrose. There was a party, like a little beach deck party there. And then that night there was Will I Am had a party. Yes, the legendary Will I Am threw a huge party. That was a benefit concert as well with Up Rocks and FYI presents. It was called LA Check In. Will I Am, DJ Drama, and DJ Head with Samantha Ronson. Now, the 100% of the proceeds was given to the LA fire relief efforts, and this was in partnership with the I Am Angel Emergency Fund, and this was a really great party. And let me tell you what I liked about this charity party. Like, this was probably the best charity event I went to. Will I Am's party was really dope because it was with Up Rocks. This is UPROXX. And it was with his group. So what was dope with the FYI campus, which is connected to Will I Am, what I really liked about it is that it was like an indoor outdoor party. There was live acts and concerts. There was a lot of like up and coming artists performing. There was just a really good vibe. But what I really liked about the party was that there were tickets. And so tickets were like $100 to get into the party. But all of the money went to support the aid for the fires, which was cool. But what I loved about that party was that party had an open bar. There was a lot of sponsored liquor. They had food. And it was a party. And I don't know if they brought sponsors, but they turned it out. And it was a really good show. And I got to meet Will I Am. We took a picture. He was very nice. And there was a couple of other producers and other artists that were in the mix that were there. And while I was at that party, I got invited to another party, which I was like, oh, okay. I thought I was about to go home. Derek Milano, who is a Grammy winning producer. So Derek Milano worked with Beyonce. He's worked with Meg Thee Stallion and some others. Like, he's a big damn deal. He's the Grammy Award winning producer who produced Savage remix with Beyonce, with Meg Thee Stallion and Beyonce. Like, he's a big damn deal. And he's currently dating Black China, but she goes by Angela White. So how I met him, how I remember him and recognized him wasn't for his producing, because there's a lot of producers out here, right? I recognized him from Love and Hip Hop and which Love and Hip Hop Miami. Because he's on the season right now. So those who've been watching Love and Hip Hop Miami, like myself, yours truly, Derek Milano is Black China's boyfriend on the show. This is the one who flew down to Miami to, do some stuff with his artist, Black China, which let me call her Angela, because that's what she wants to be named. That's her real name, Angela White. But I just want y'all to know who I'm talking about so that we can put this in context. But Angela is on her sobriety. Like, she doesn't drink anymore. She's a different woman now. She's really just on her grown man shit. But like throughout the show, Derek is really, going to the clubs and, he's doing his music thing, but he also wants to be respectful to her sobriety and he wants to stay positive and not get caught up. But at the same time, he wants to, he wants to still pursue his career and everything. Well, I will just say I went to his party. It was at the Godfrey Hotel. It was a nice party. And I see Angela there, but I don't think she goes to parties like that anymore based on like how she's trying to live. But he was very much so there, very social. He wasn't acting like he was single. Seemed like a nice guy. But there was definitely a lot of people in his area. But you can't blame nobody who's popping. I mean, he's who he is. I know what that's like. But I tell people all the time, like, people won't come up to you. But it's your ability as the person in a relationship to tell the person, nah, I'm good, back up. Because let me tell y'all something. This ring on my finger was on the whole time. I didn't even, hell, I took a shower with it on. I didn't, you never know where you're going to be. Like, no, listen, I was like, but let me say this though. People don't care. People don't care. And so I always say to people, and this is why I say, shout out to Derek Milano, because he was acting like a good boy at every party I saw him at. He was well behaved. So Angela, if you listen to this podcast and then your friends listen, girl, you don't gotta pull out no phone. When I was there, I seen him with my own eyes, and that was a good man. That was a decent man. He was very respectful. People was coming by, gas, filling them and, but that's what the industry do. You can't help that you fly or whatever. This man got multiple Grammys. This man don't work with the top of the top. I mean, the man has talent. So people was coming up, but it wasn't that long. No, it wasn't no, I'm over here with you for 20 minutes, letting you talk to me solo. It wasn't none of that. It was a hi, thank you, appreciate it, and kept it moving. I will say that. There's some other men in this industry that I saw at these parties. I ain't gonna name no names, but they definitely was out here acting like these are the conversations I'm gonna have with my friends, my friends, because this podcast a little too viral. Y'all done hundreds of thousands. Y'all listen. It used to be rocking some names, and then y'all we just talking. Oh no, y'all done blew this show up. This podcast is out here, getting nominations and, things of its own. I got to put that in the group chat. But I'll tell you the good things. But no, he was great. He was an upstanding gentleman, I will say, I based on what I was seeing. But that party was lit. After that, I took my ass to bed because Saturday is when it goes down, okay? Saturday is showtime. At that point, my schedule was barely my schedule for the most part. So I saw, who did I see? I went to the Grammys brunch. That's right. I went to the Grammys brunch and Avery Sunshine was there, who I admire. Tank and the Bangers were there. And they were both Grammy nominated. So it was really cool to see them. They were nominated. They ended up winning down the road, but at the time, okay, they were nominated, so it was nice to see them. Funny fact is that my frat brother who's in my chapter, he's actually one of the former presidents of my chapter. He's an alpha. His younger sister is Avery Sunshine, and I know that. And so it's a small world. It's a small world. But well, I'll get more to her in a minute. But the brunch was nice. It was definitely more low key this year because of everything. Like, what was so interesting about the Grammys was that the Grammy events were scaled down. Like, they didn't put too much marketing or promotion. It was very much they want to be mindful and modest. Like they didn't want to flash and strut their riches, I guess. But the brunch I went to was great. It was at the same location I was at last year. There were some nominees there, but it was more about, supporting efforts. There was like Congress people, elected people in LA that were like US Congress folks that are already music advocates, but they were talking about ways to support the music community during this time and all of that. So it was a different type of excitement. Initially, the country singer Lainey, I think it's Lacey Wilson or Lainey Wilson, who was nominated in some country categories. She was supposed to be the special guest for the brunch, but that was before the fires happened. And then once the fires happened, everything, then she rescheduled. She was there at the Grammys, but I guess she was off the radar as far as the grid of events. So that happened. I also caught with tea time with a friend in between, but I'm going to save that tea for the podcast, who I had tea with. Now, some of y'all already probably know who I had tea with, but that isn't music related. I think that will go better in my next podcast episode that's coming out, because then I'll talk about everything that's been going on. Because let me be very clear. It seems like when I'm not in Philadelphia, that's when Philadelphia When Show was asked, or when Philadelphia is in the news, and for good or for bad and for every in between. And so it's very interesting because, the helicopter crash, not helicopter crash. Well, there was a helicopter crash, but that was in DC. Again, while I was in LA, I'm watching this horrific news about this DC crash, only to find out a small plane crashed in Philly. I'm like, what the fuck? What is going on? So it's a lot. But I stay very optimistic. And it was a lot to just have to, I was just like hoping everybody was okay in the Northeast. And it seemed like for the most part, most people are okay. Like they're safe and sound. Most people are, which is fortunate. But yeah, it just seemed like a lot was going on in Philly while I was going, but I just kept up. I kept up with what was going on, and I got some thoughts, and you will find up in the upcoming full-length episode of Ernestly Speaking, which we drop in very, very soon. So just stay tuned. You guys got a double feature this week. Y'all got 2 episodes this week, okay? Because I know y'all wanted a bonus episode after seeing the videos, of course. So the brunch was decent. I didn't had a little mid-time break. I needed it, y'all. I got back from brunch, took me a nice little nap, had tea time with a good friend. If you want to know more about who that was and what the tea was, you got to listen to the next episode. But that was nice. That was cool. And by the way, I stayed at the Biltmore Millennium Hotel. And I've stayed here for the past 3 consecutive times I've come for Grammy weekend. Love this hotel. This hotel is where it's at. It's very nice. It's accommodating. The beds are nice. The room is nice. It always feels like I have a suite. Like when I tell you that these rooms are real rooms, like this is a real hotel. Like sometimes, I don't know. New York is like the worst when it comes to hotels. I'm going to drag New York. Yeah, I'm dragging New York. I don't know what y'all do in New York City with these hotels, but they small as hell and they weird. Y'all just making everything a hotel down there. It's just too much. But this hotel I'm at right now. This is the Biltmore Millennium. This is a hotel. Like this is a real hotel room. Like, furniture, bed, sheets, the lamps, everything about this feels like a hotel. It was nice to be here for the past, it's like 5 days I stayed in here. Like it felt like a home. Like I turned this out. Okay. Most of it's just a bunch of clothes on the floor all over the place because I ain't really been in here to really like relax. I've been here to sleep, take a nap. Then you get up, you're changing clothes, you're out in the stroll, you're out in the streets. So I had to get ready. So I got rested up because y'all know what I went to on Saturday night, the eve of the Grammys. The Clive Davis pre-Grammy show reception. It was a night. It's always the gala. So it was at the Beverly Hills Hilton. And yeah, it was in Beverly Hills. And of course, for the 3rd consecutive year, of course, if I'm at the Hilton, I saw Miss Hilton herself. Paris Hilton was there, as always. And we're like good old friends. And at this point, Paris knows me. I know Paris. I see her. She sees me. This is an annual thing. And so it's always love when we see each other, It's just always love. She had their glitter on. I wore me my glitter Telfar bag that I got to finally pull out, and I was like, I gotta wear this somewhere that's gonna make an impact. Like it's iconic, and I wore it to the Clive Davis, party. So, yeah, my silver sparkling Telfar. Shout out to Telfar. It made the rounds. Telfar was with me the whole week, for the most part. Like I was just wearing different ones. I had the schmedium, that I wore the first day, and then I had the silver bag, and then I had the black leather Wilson bag. That's like my favorite for the winter, actually, because it's with the real leather, not the vegan leather, the real leather, and they actually still sell it on stock. They have a dark brown chocolate one and a black one. Look at me sound like a damn ad, but no, they have that available on Telfar's site. That's not one of those like flash shows. Like they're still selling it. So if you want one, you can go get one. They're a little bit more than the traditional vegan leathers, but it is worth it because baby, this one I got, this one may last forever. Actually, I love this bag. It is really sturdy and really durable and very, just a good ass bag. I just love this bag. And it's very versatile. I can wear it with different things. But yeah, shout out to Telfar. But yes, the party was nice. Now, I will say this party was definitely turned down compared to previous years. Even though, interesting enough, the Clive Davis party this year celebrated his 50th anniversary. Now, I told you all that of the party, right? The 50th anniversary of the party itself. So he's been doing this since like 1975. Like, that's wild. But the Clive Davis party is iconic. Stars are made. Stars perform. Doechii performed. A lot of people performed there. And it was a nice night. Now, you're probably wondering who were the stars who was there. Last year was star-studded last year. Like Mariah Carey was there. Cher was there. Dua Lipa. Earth, Wind, and Fire. It was like legends. Kylie Minogue, Tom Hanks, Byron Allen. This was like last year, okay? And the year before that, you had Lizzo, you had Cardi B, you had Chloe and Haley, Avril Lavigne, Lil Nas X. It was just so different. This year, everything about this year was just so low key. Like, there were stars there, but the level of energy, for example, and to be clear, it makes sense because, again, there's a fire. Paparazzi used to be all over the place. This time around, they had one little section for paparazzi. It wasn't that crazy. It was a very, like, tammered down affair. As far as, like, the people. So, folks that were there, Yolanda Adams was there. I saw Sierra. We saw each other. We chatted a little bit. We took a picture. She's gorgeous. She's so tall in person. Amazon, fashion forward. Beautiful. Very beautiful in person. I saw Tim's, Grammy Award winning Tim's. Tim's was pretty. Tim's was gorgeous. She's so gorgeous in person. Yeah, Tim's is gorgeous. Of course, I said Paris Hilton. Miguel was there. We'll talk about Miguel in a minute. Who else was there? A lot of people. Haley Bailey was there, or Holly Bailey. Holly Bailey was there. I took a picture with her, so I wasn't like pressed. I saw her in 2023 when I first went to the Grammys. Yeah, it was just very, like, there were some major players, but it was just like in and out. It wasn't that many, like a barrage. Like, I just remember where it used to be like crazy mayhem at the hotel. It was very tempered. What was interesting was they had a bunch of security, and it was getting on nerves of the paparazzi people because they were just like, y'all over here telling everybody to back up and all this, baby. Ain't that many people here? There was some paparazzi, but it wasn't like. I just remember when I used to go previous years, it was so many celebrities coming. It was so much mayhem. But again, I'm not saying this is the fault of the Academy or anybody. It's just that I'm painting the picture for you that the Hollywood celebrities this year was very modest when it came to it. I think this is going to change by the time we get to the Oscars because, the Oscars is like, what, March 2nd? It's a month from now. I definitely think it's going to change by then. By then, it'll get a little bit more. But this is like the first major award show to take place in LA since all of this. So I think it was like a test run to just test it out. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I will say it was definitely a lot more. Like I said, it was just very low key. After that party, and I go to an after party. And let me just say this. A lot of people talking about they canceling stuff because of the Grammys. Child, they can say that all they want. There was no more Diddy events, clearly. There was no Rock Nation brunches, clearly. There's a lot of other stuff going on in the industry outside these fires. But I thought it was interesting how everybody kind of didn't discuss anything because everybody's focused on the fires. I'll just say that. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I just think a lot of people out here saying, "Oh, the fire, the fire." I'm like, is it the fire or was it the allegations? Because I feel like before the fires, there was already controversies going on with certain artists and things. Just saying. But moving along. So after Clive Davis' party, we arrived to the Grammys, and here we are. We're talking about the Grammys. We're in Grammy mode now. The Grammys were fire, actually. So let me back up. Got up in the morning, had to get up in the morning, got my outfit on. I was Cowboy Carter. I had the original Cowboy Carter sash that was designed by Beyonce's team. They made these. These are official Cowboy Carter sashes. They released these right when she first opened up her merch and things. It was limited edition. And I got it, and I was like, I already knew it. When I got this like probably like maybe around May of last year, but I had seen it come out, and I wanted one. I got access to getting one, and it was the original one that she wore. Like it was designed like the official replica of what she wore, on her album cover. Like the material, the design, the font, like this is a real Cowboy Carter banner. And when I saw it, I was like, yeah, that's it. I'm going to make a whole outfit by this. I'm going to make a whole outfit based off of this look. I'm going to be Cowboy Carter at the Grammys. I've known for months what my look was going to be. I knew she was going to get nominated. I just knew that I was like, yep, I'm going to wear the cowboy hat. I'm going to do the whole look. And I don't really like wearing hats like that. But I was like, I have to like wear the hat. Like, and that hat was heavy. I got it studded. I had the sequin boots. And I had a navy blue top. So people were like, oh, why you didn't do no designs? Let me tell y'all something. The statement was the sash. All I needed was to wear a suit that was going to make that banner pop. And so I went with a baby blue suit so that the actual banner would stand out more. Like that dark blue, red, white, that red, white, and blue pattern on some light blue, it just tracks the eye. Because the goal was I was trying to get the eyes on the sash, which worked. Mission accomplished. The cowboy hat was fabulous. The boots kilted. It was like one of my all-time favorite outfits. And I wore it like with the mindset of, I'm here to let you all know I am here for Cowboy Carter. This album will win Album of the Year, and I want you all to know it's coming. I came to the Grammys almost like a warner, like a messenger to tell you all she's winning tonight. I'm here. Look at this, because you're going to see this banner all night. Like, I just felt like I was a walking billboard for Beyonce. I just was like, this outfit is going to mean so much if she wins, and hopefully she do. When she was nominated for Renaissance, I had the Renaissance fan that I wore with my matching outfit that I had to the Grammys in 2023. And when she did not win, And she lost to Harry Styles for Harry's House. And where has he been since? But let me not. I was very much having a moment where I was like, you know. But let me backtrack because I just realized I left out details from that Clive Davis party. Let me backtrack a little bit because I was like, because the context will be missing. So at the end of the Clive Davis party, I was in the hotel lobby with my friends. And we had a little section. And Miguel had came by. He came by, said hi to everybody in our section, was saying hello. And it's just been it's been interesting because Miguel is just so. If y'all follow Miguel on the news, his up and down all around divorces and drama, Miguel is just a mess. And he was there, and it was obvious he likes his fans. Well, let me clarify this. He likes the fame of attention. Like he's the kind of person that he likes to go in very average spots. There's some celebrities that don't want to deal with people. They really don't. They go to public events. They want to get to where they going. They don't want to stop. They don't want to take pictures. They don't want to talk to them. They don't want to do anything because they're just so important that they just like to go in and out. You can't talk to them because they team, right? That's how they frame. That's how they frame it, right? But Miguel has been past those days. Like there was a time where Miguel had won Grammys and got the big nominations and won his awards and all those things. I wouldn't say his career is done. It's just that he's not. There's been some years have passed since then, since his heyday. So I think he likes the attention of being spotted or people come up to him and things. So he had a lot of attention at the bar. But I was so happy to see somebody who I'm a big fan of, and I got a chance to just see them again. And this was Duran Bernard, who is an incredible performer. A lot of you all might know him from the NPR Tiny Little Desks, but he has a brand new album coming out actually February 18th on a Tuesday. And his recent album called En Route got nominated for a Grammy for Best Progressive R&B Album. And it was a pretty big damn deal because he's been in the industry. He's like in his mid-30s. And he's been in the industry for quite some time. Since he was in his like early adulthood years. Like he's been in the game for a while. But he's an indie artist and he does a lot of his stuff independently. But he's been building a very strong following. And he is now Grammy nominated, his first ever nomination, which is a pretty big damn deal. So we hung out. My friends who I was there with and his crew, we all hung out and like had mimosas and cocktails and was just talking about the industry. And I was getting some industry tea that I will not be sharing on this podcast episode. But definitely some interesting tidbits about the industry for sure. But fast forward now back to, that night. So that night was great. Clive Davis party was good. Now back to Sunday. So Sunday I dressed out, looked really good. Got my ass on that red carpet, took some pictures, all that. You all saw on my IG. It was nice. Now my favorite part about the Grammys, like I struggle. It's hard for me to answer this. People always ask me, what's better, the pre-show or the Grammys themselves? It's hard to say. I will say, consistent-wise, I like the pre-Grammy reception, like the show before the show. The reason why is because they don't have that many performances, and they really are really efficient at just announcing the winners. And you get to see a lot of artists and categories that don't get enough spotlight on mainstream TV. So, for example, like all the rap categories, Kendrick was killing it. Like, I think Kendrick has won 5 Grammys. I think he's won the most Grammys. I think he's the most winning Grammy artist, mind you. And this is all off of one song. They not like us, literally won every damn thing. Best rap performance, best rap song. what else did he get? Best duo? Was it a duo or something? He just won. He just kept sweeping. Oh yeah, the music video won. Best music video, best rap song, best rap performance, record of the year, song of the year. We'll get to that. But 5 Grammys. So I think he won the most Grammys out of every artist at the Grammys this night. Yeah, he did his big one. Yeah, Kendrick came to sweep. He came to sweep. He showed up and showed out. And for a song that did not even have an album attached to it, but I digress. But like I said before, I think I like the pre-show more because a lot of the artists like R&B categories, like you don't see none of those wins on TV. Like no one knew, but SZA won another Grammy. She won a Grammy for best R&B song for Saturn, and then Money Long won a Grammy. I think it was Made for You, I believe it was, or one of the songs she won for. Maybe R&B performance was Made for You, but it was just good to see that even the rock categories, like seeing all the different rock categories. Like what y'all don't know is that Charlie XCX won some Grammys. She won Best Alternative Album for Brat, I believe it was. Brat won something. But yeah, a lot of artists was winning awards that were quite surprising. So yeah, you just never know. You never know. So at the pre-show, Avery Sunshine. So some big surprise wins. And this was started making me think about the Grammys and who was going to take over and who was going to win what. So for starters, there was a tie for Best R&B Progressive Album. This is the category that had Avery Sunshine, Anderson .Paak, my good friend Duran Bernard. Like, there was some stiff competition. The announcer announces there's a tie. I'm like, oh snap, a tie? Like, I've never heard of this. Like, a tie? It was a dead on tie. And the tie was between Avery Sunshine and Anderson .Paak and his other group. I guess he's like in a duo group or something. But they had won for this duo album they did. And I was like, wow, Anderson .Paak know how to get him some Grammys. But I was like, damn, like that was interesting. So other categories that stood out to me, and when I started to read the term, so I believe Sabrina Carpenter won Best Pop Solo Performance for Espresso. And that was a big deal because I was like, damn, Taylor Swift didn't win. Chaperone didn't win. It was just like interesting. And then Sabrina Carpenter won another Grammy, but it was for like a dance remix or something recording. She didn't win. Mark Ronson won for producing it, but I don't think that counted towards her because she wasn't the one who performed it. But it was like a remix song or dance remix or whatever, and Espresso had won that. And so I was like, and then Charli XCX had won some awards. She won Best Rock Performance for, or I think it was recorded or something, alternative performance. But Von Dutch had won, and Von Dutch snaps. I was like, Best Electronic Dance Performance. Yeah, Von Dutch won, which it should have won. It is Von Dutch on Charli XCX's Brat album. Let me tell y'all something. That is a mood. That is a mood. That song, that whole vibe. She has a lot of great songs off that album. But if somebody was to ask me what is the epitome of that album, like if you want to understand like the album in a nutshell, what song would you play? I would play that. I would say if you want to get a gist of what is the Brat era and album about, listen to this. Like Von Dutch, I think, hit that note. But I just was noticing there wasn't that many Chaperone wins. No Taylor Swift wins. No Billie Eilish wins thus far. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. They're really feeling Sabrina Carpenter and Charlie XCX. Is this going to be a pattern? Are we seeing something here? What is the data showing, right? So I get to the Grammys, and there starts to be some shuffling going on, some chatter about Kanye West being at the Grammys. And I'm like, Kanye, what? Because Kanye's not been to the Grammys in like 2015, like nearly 10 years ago. Like Kanye just hasn't been to the Grammys in a while. And so this is coming off the heels of his rant and his crazy ass rant or whatever. And he followed only Taylor Swift on his socials or some shit. And I was like, oh my goodness, is he harassing this woman again? Like, what is this man doing? Like, is he really like, is he really doing this in broad daylight? Like the nerve of this man. Like, I can't say I'm shocked, but it's just like, come the fuck on. So that happened, and that took me for a little bit of a loop because I was just like, why are we doing this? Like, Earth here, people? Like, what are we doing, Kanye? But nonetheless, Kanye was Kanyeing or kayaking or whatever the hell you want to call it. And, doing the shit that the attention seeking shit that he always do. So he came to the Grammys, to the red carpet, not to the actual show. He was on the red carpet with Bianca, the woman he's been with, they call her the Kim K lookalike. He was there with her. But the tea is, y'all, to be real with you, there's rumors that he was escorted out by police and carried by police. That's not true. No police was present. There was no escorting or nothing or anything. That man just trolled. He got on the red carpet. And let me be very clear. He was like, was he invited, not invited? He was nominated. He still gets Grammy nominations. Like, this man is still getting Grammy nominations. He's still winning Grammys in certain places. Okay? He was nominated for Carnival with Ty Dolla $ign. So when people were talking about, oh, he was uninvited, he shouldn't have been there. No, that man was nominated for a Grammy. When you're a nominee, you're invited to attend the Grammys, which is how he got access to the red carpet. But he showed up on the red carpet and he left. He just wanted to let y'all know he was in the building. That if he wanted to come in that motherfucker, he could. And that's what he did. I'm not a Kanye fan. I'm not crazy about Kanye anymore. I mean, where do I begin? But a lot of you all still are. But yeah, Kanye wasn't on. Yeah, Kanye wasn't. It wasn't any of that. So I just wanted to let you all know, as somebody who was on the ground, that all this other stuff that people have been talking about on the internet and stuff. I that's why you need to have boots on the ground, journalists on the ground, because sometimes information just be carrying and just it'd be all kind of stuff. Like, I'm still shook over the fact that Killer Mike had got arrested. He got arrested during the Grammys last year, and that was a whole thing. Oh, that was a lot too. That was a lot. But he had won several Grammys that night, for better or for worse. But so now that we're transitioning, there were several wins at the Grammys that definitely was not good wins in my opinion. So let me start off by saying Christopher Maurice Brown has won his second Grammy ever in the same category that he won his first. Best R&B album he won for his 11:11 album. I'll just leave that there. But y'all be like, oh, this person canceled. The industry don't like this person. Blah, 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 blah. That man is still getting Grammy nominations, and that man just won another Grammy after everything that took place. This man won Best R&B Album. And I'm just sitting here looking like there were so many better artists out this year, like Million Long's Revenge. But Chris Brown wins? Like, I just don't even know. I don't even think that album was... I just haven't even listened to it. I mean, yeah, he was nominated for other Grammys, but it appears that was the one he the one he won. So people was hype about it. I thought he probably would win for Sensational for the Afrobeat song. But that didn't happen though. But yeah, he won though. He definitely won. And it was interesting because where I was seated at for the Grammys pre-show, the person that was sitting on my back row on the other end is none other than John Legend. He was there. He was in the flesh. I mean, I've seen John Legend many times already, but he was nominated for a Best Children's Book Recording or something like that. He didn't win, but he was nominated, and so he was excited about that. And I think he ended up winning a Grammy, but for something else, for another collaboration later down that show. But he was there, I think, to see if he was going to win his children's book recording, but it didn't happen. But he was there. I saw him at the pre-show. He was at the pre-show, chilling and everything. I'm thinking about, oh yes, Adam Blackstone won. Adam Blackstone, everybody loves him. He's a Philly guy, well, from Jersey, but we still claim him. And he won a Grammy this year, which was a big deal because he's been nominated before in the past but never won. So for him to win a Grammy was a big damn deal. That was dope. Now, to the main show itself, the Grammys itself. So I had a funny feeling about these categories this year. I was like, it's Black History Month, which the Grammys is always during Black History Month. So let me just start by saying like that it's not like the Academy cares about diversity and inclusion this year they clearly did. Let me just correct myself. This year they did. Because this was the blackest Grammys we've seen in a minute. Okay, Black artists was clearing up in categories that people didn't expect them to. Okay, lots of history tonight. Lots of history. So first things first. Doechii won Rap Album of the Year, and she becomes the third Black female artist, Black woman artist to ever win an album of the Rap Album of the Year category. To win just Rap Album is just like crazy. But Doechii, Alligator Bites, that album, she campaigned for it aggressively. She had a strong campaign. I can't take that from her. She had a strong campaign. Her campaign was nothing to sneeze on. Just to be clear, her campaign was something serious, and I was here for it. I was definitely here for it. But yeah, she won, and it was so beautiful because it was very interesting and intentional how they brought out people, right? So they had Cardi B announced the winner, and it was a woman. Like, to see two women in hip hop, Cardi B was the second woman. Cardi B is the first solo female rapper to win. Because the first, when Lauryn Hill won, she didn't win for Miseducation Lauryn Hill. That wasn't a rap album. They didn't put it in the rap category. The Fugees, The Score, was considered a rap album, and that's where she was a part of the Fugees, and that's how she was considered the first woman to ever win Best Rap Album. But it was a part of being a part of the group. Cardi B is a solo artist, and she won her first Grammy and only Grammy, I believe, for that, that category. Now it's three winners. Now it's Doechii, and it's Cardi B, Doechii, Lauryn Hill, Doechii, right? And people were teasing over here saying like, "Oh, I know Nicki Minaj is somewhere pulling, the carpet off the floor." I don't know what Nicki's doing, but what I will say is I can imagine that Nicki is somewhere. I don't know if it's pissed off. I don't like the narrative. People try painting like she's some jealous. Well, let me just say this. I don't know what Nicki's doing, but I guess it would probably suck to be in Nicki's shoes right now, because you done sat up here and Pink Friday 2 didn't even get nominated, even though the massive critical, well, I don't know if it's critical acclaim, but the fans loved it. She had a whole tour around it. And then Doechii, this younger artist, gets this win, and it's a beautiful black woman. She's, dark skinned. She's, she's all the things that um you would want a woman in hip hop to win a Grammy for. I mean, she's got strong lyricism. Her art is there. I mean, I know a lot of men who love the Doechii album. And it kind of came out right before Grammy nominations were closing. So she kind of slid right in time. But she's also signed to TDE. And that does matter, right? So TDE is Kendrick Lamar. That's the group, that the label that Kendrick Lamar was a part of. And they're known in the industry. They're like the Big Machine Records of the business. For those who know what I'm talking about, Big Machine Records, that's the country. That's that record label that signed Taylor Swift and owns the masters to original music. TDE is, kind of like that. They got some big artists in their mix. They got SZA around the mix. They got Doechii's now a big damn deal. I would say, Kendrick, put Doechii on the damn tour. Put Doechii on your tour. You got SZA on the tour. Put Doechii on the tour. You might as well. I mean, she's good. So yeah, that was a pleasant surprise. I knew the tides were changing for album of the year when Sabrina Carpenter had won Best Pop Vocal Album. And I said to myself, okay, so this is like the second or third Grammy Sabrina Carpenter has won. Charlie XCX, her album was very much a rock, electronic, but she didn't win any awards on stage or in person. And so that was interesting. Billie Eilish didn't win anything. There's a lot of people that went 0. Taylor Swift won no Grammys. Billie Eilish won no Grammys. Ariana Grande didn't win any Grammys. And these are people that put out some major albums this year. None of them won anything. Mm. Mm. So when I saw those categories get locked, when I saw certain artists being locked out of categories, I just started thinking to myself, this is interesting. This is a nail biter. Because I kept saying to myself, and I remember texting my friends, Dr. Parks, Mr. Johnson, we was live texting and everything, DM and messaging all my friends while I was at the Grammys. They was like, do you see this commercial? I'm like, no, they don't let us see commercials. You just talk about the different stuff and how people was winning. No one in my group thought that Beyonce was going to win Album of the Year. I had faith. I just was like, I don't know, y'all. I study these award shows. I'll tell you what did shock me, though. I'll get to what shocked me. What shocked me more than anything else. I was surprised Sabrina Carpenter won Pop Vocal Album, but I wasn't that surprised after seeing her win in other categories. That I started to be like, if she can win this, she can win this, right? So I started getting worried for Chapel Roan because I was like, well, what is Chapel going to win? Because everybody just thought that Sabrina Carpenter was not going to get anything. It was like, she's got to win Best New Artist because if she don't win Best New Artist, she ain't win nothing else. That was a prediction. Like, no one predicted that she was going to win anything. Billie Eilish, everyone just knew Billie Eilish was going to win probably Song of the Year for Birds of a Feather or Record of the Year, but probably Song of the Year. And I still stand by that. I do think she should have won Song of the Year for Birds of a Feather. So I was just like, okay, well, if Billie Eilish is going to get that, Taylor's going to get Album of the Year. For some people, they just knew Taylor was going to win. I don't see a world in which Chapel Roan's going to win anything. Clearly Taylor's going to win something. Right? That's what that's what people thought. It didn't happen. It did not happen. And one of the things that stood out to me is that it seems like with Billie Eilish, ever since Billie Eilish's first album, she has not won any Grammys for her other albums. So Happier Than Ever got all these nominations, and she did not win not one single category. Hit Me Hard, Hit Me Soft, same situation. Got nominated in a bunch of categories, but did not win anything. And so she's the type of artist that when she just drops out a random single or something, she can get a Song of the Year. She's won a Song of the Year like 2 times. She's won a Record of the Year 2 times. right? Like these some serious, those some serious awards. She's won Best New Artist already. She's won Album the year before, So I feel like to a certain extent the Grammys like they have this like tug of war relationship with artists like her, where they're like, okay, we want to give you some stuff, but then we don't want to give you everything because we give you everything. Like, what's going to be your incentives to, it's like, I don't know. People, I think in some situations, I think the recording camera say, you know what, she's fairly young. Like, she's not even in her 30s yet. She's in her 20s. And so I think they might be like, look, this woman got 2 Oscars. She's won all these awards. She's got tons of Grammys. She's won album of the year already. Can we spread this love? Can we give some people who never got these awards some love? So I think that was the attitude and the energy of the Academy this year. I mean, shout out to them announcing when the general categories. This was voted on by 13,000 members. You better let them know. You better remind them, because in the past, people did not know who won what, So it was good to see some of these trends early. I just started thinking maybe. So then the big one for me was when Taylor Swift came out in a red dress and gave Beyonce Best Country Album. I everything about that was just so iconic, and iconic for so many reasons and so many layers. For starters, here these women are 15 years later, an incident that I won't forget. Beyonce, Taylor Swift had a red dress on. Beyonce gives her, Beyonce wins, a category. And this is when Taylor Swift was about to cross over from country to pop. And this is Fearless album, You Belong With Me era. And I remember when, the Kanye incident takes place. And then here we are 15 years later, and some of the same shenanigans is going on. And now everybody sees Kanye for who he is and what he is. Taylor Swift is still out here doing her thing. Beyonce's out here doing her thing. These 2 women, in spite of how much society wanted to pit these women against each other, listen, you can't pit 2 billionaires against each other, child. Rich people gonna rich people, whether they black, white, or in between. Rich people gonna rich people. And so at the end of the day, I saw 2 billionaires continue to make more money. Okay. But what I also saw was 2 women who are on top of the world in their respective, fields and in the areas that no matter what happens, there's a mutual respect. And they can support each other, encourage each other. And it's all good at the end of the day. World domination. I mean, they did this with their movies. The Renaissance movie came out. Taylor Swift showed up to that premiere and supported it. Taylor, the Eras tour that they tour, Beyonce showed up and she supported, she supported as well. So they are above and beyond the bullshit. I mean, I think that's the one good thing I'll say about the situation is that they're obviously not they're not crazy about this whole fan war nonsense. Like, everybody wants to create this fandom stuff. And sometimes I just think some of these celebrities, they're like, I don't want to be, I don't want to be caught up in your little drama, I think they just want more for themselves. And so I can respect that. I can truly respect that. And I think that was a good thing to see, But yeah, Taylor Swift had the red dress on, and, it was given circa, MTV Video Music Awards, and the symbolism of that. And also the fact that Taylor Swift, as somebody who once won that award and then crossed over, to be able to see, Beyonce in country and to give her that award, when they first was on 2 different parts of that, to see them win, that was beautiful. So that was cool. I'm trying to think about some other things. The performances across the board were great. I loved everybody's performances. I thought everybody was just really good as far as live shows. Doechii was fire. The best new artists, that best new artist montage, all the best new artist nominees, all performing one by one, fire. Okay, and For those who do not know who Benson Boone is, they're like, who's the white boy who was killing it? The one who performed at the beginning of the Best New Artist Showcase? That's Benson Boone. And I mean, I was like, y'all don't know. I guess I follow a lot of different music, but people was like, who's the white boy? I'm like, y'all know who he is? That's talent. But he's very talented. He had that Freddie Mercury energy when he performed at the Grammys tonight. His energy was just very, very out there, up there. He kept the pace. He definitely performed like it was due. I love to see it. I love an artist that's hungry. Like he was hungry. He was like, look, I ain't giving away my shot. Okay. I don't know next time I'm gonna be on this stage, but I want people to listen to my music. I want people to be streaming me. If I do it right, I should have some followers by the end of this performance. The artist Ray performed, and she was good too. She was real good. Chaperone performed. Chaperone is a good performer. I won't take that from her. Sometimes I have found her annoying on social media, but performance wise, she eats. She eats. You cannot deny her passion for her music and her love for music. Her passion for music is fire. There's no denying that. You cannot deny her love for music, and she's a great singer. She's a good singer. Um, she has her own identity. People love to compare her to Gaga. I see some Gaga in there, but she's also got her own little niche, for sure. Sabrina Carpenter performed. She's just so fun. Sabrina Carpenter is cute and fun, and her energy and how she performs, she's very much that type of artist where she, you can't say she's not talented, but she just knows her lane and she stays in it. You can appreciate that. Like she's not trying to be this big old songstress, but she's also not dry. She'll dance, she'll step. She's funny. She's got a sense of humor. She's got her own little niche going for her, and I like it. It reminds me, ironically, it kind of reminds me of Katy Perry a little bit. She's got a little bit of the Katy Perry type of quirkiness, like a little bit to her, that I think people liked about Katy Perry. I think she's more Katy Perry than she is like a Christina Aguilera type. Because I've seen some comparisons to her and Christina Aguilera. I can see what the look, because they're both blonde or something. But when I'm thinking about vocals and aesthetic, it's more Katy Perry to me. And I don't mean no shade by that. Like Katie's a little bit more. She's got that crudeness to her that's cute and flirty and all of that. I think that's the kind of edge that I feel like Sabrina's giving. But less. I don't want to say the word corny, but less corny. She's just fun with it. It's very stylish. It's very of her age. It's very in her niche. And so yeah, yeah, Sabrina was doing her thing. Best New Artist went to Chapel Roan. It was the only Grammy Chapel Roan won, which shocked me because I think a lot of us thought she was going to get Record of the Year or something else for Good Luck Babe. But no, she did not. She did not. She only won Best New Artist, which is a really good win and in a very tough category. Um, but no, she did her big one. Beyonce winning again, country album. Best country album was everything. For people to get the facts, because a lot of times we start naming stuff and saying people are the first of this and the first of that. Let's get some facts on the table, shall we? So let's put this in context. Beyonce is the first black artist to ever win Best Country Album. She is not the first black artist to ever win in a country category. And she's not even the first black woman to ever win a Grammy in the country category. That belongs to the Pointer Sisters. They were a very beautiful black group of women that were country singers that won in 1974. So we're talking 50 years ago. Okay, to be clear, a lot of them are not with us today. But that is the big news, is that Beyonce is the first black artist, black woman artist. Okay, specifically because Darius Rucker exists, y'all. Y'all cannot be erasing black country singers. Like, cut that out. Okay, cut that out. Darius Ruckers exists. All right. But there's others, right? But she is the first black woman since 1974, okay, to win a Grammy in country. So there's history there, okay? But the first black artist to ever win country album, right? So she's reclaiming the culture and the genre. And it's interesting because each of her albums have done this. Like the first album, Renaissance, won in this trilogy, won Best Electronic Dance Recording Album. So it was a dance album. It won in that specific genre category. Country album, she put her album in the country category. She won 3 Grammys tonight, as you all know. Album of the Year, of course, we'll talk more about that soon. But then she also won Best Country Duo Collaboration. That was with her and Miley Cyrus for Two Most Wanted, which was a beautiful song. A lot of people, when that song first came out, went up for it and just said this duet is great. Like, this is going to win a Grammy, and it won a Grammy, y'all. So we spoke that into existence. That was definitely a standout in the album. And then she won Best Country Album. So she won 3 Grammys, not bad. Making her total 35, wins. Now, when she won that Grammy in country, everybody just said, that's it. She got her televised win. She ain't going to win no more anymore tonight. I said, watch. I just kept telling people, I don't know. I just said, this just feels different. And it's because I had been listening to industry insiders, talking to people from the Academy, and everybody that I spoke to, white, black, in between, any group, different people I was speaking to throughout the Grammy weekend was just like, even when I wore my banner, it was like a silent majority or something. Like people were just like, I voted for Beyonce I did vote for Cowboy Carter. And I'm just like, okay. When she won country album, I said she's going to win album of the year. I knew it in my head because to be honest with you all, it's a process of elimination. It's like a category thing. It's like there was too many pop girls in these categories. The pop girls canceled each other out. That's what happened. The pop girls canceled each other out. And Beyonce was strategic because she put herself in a different genre where she was going to build a voter block of people from different sectors of the industry. Like R&B and hip hop love Beyonce. They're going to vote for Beyonce for album of the year. Like there was no other R&B-esque album that was nominated. There was no other rap album that was nominated. The closest you had to black music was Cowboy Carter. I want to say Beyonce was the only black artist nominated for album of the year this year. Oh, except, I'm sorry, Andre 3000 for that flute album, which nobody like. That probably had the least amount of votes. But outside of him, which, let's be clear, Andre 3000 has already won album of the year. He won alongside Big Boy when Stankonia Speakerbox The Love Below had won. He just lucky he was nominated in the category. But he had already won album the year before. Okay? Outkast is one of the few black acts to win album of the year win. But no, it was crazy to see. Yeah, the pop girls, I feel like cancel each other out. Chapel Roan couldn't get into anything, because between Sabrina sweeping some things or Charlie XCX, there was like a block for her. And then that automatically made a block for Taylor Swift because Taylor Swift just couldn't get enough people. Because I think there are people who still felt like she won album of the year last year. That reverberated where I think there were some voters like, okay, I'm not voting for anything because, every vote I put, she's going to potentially, she could win and we can't run the risk of that. So I think also, too, Beyonce being in the category, she had a competitive category. I mean, she went up against some heavyweights. I mean, she went against Billie Eilish, Taylor Swift. Just off of that alone meant that it was a very fierce competition. So, that was how I started to see the process of elimination. Now, what also confirmed my suspicions was another random thing, and this is what really shocked me the most. Kendrick Lamar, they not like us winning record of the year and song of the year. I don't know. My theory is several things. First of all, Sony Music Group, y'all got that payola, baby. Y'all was putting that money. Y'all wanted to embarrass Drake at this point. Which, let me be very clear, he deserves it. But I think that it's the industry responding to their sickness of Drake. Like, they're tired of Drake, and I think Drake, when Drake did that lawsuit, Drake made him a Karen in a situation that just didn't work in his favor. And I think there's no coming back for Drake. I think Drake is done. I think everybody was questioning that for a while, but I think we can all say Drake is done. Like, the Grammys don't really care much about him. I just don't see Drake making a comeback anytime soon. I think fans are over him. I think as long as Kendrick is around, and Kendrick has made a song like that win 5 Grammys. I don't know of another song in recent history that has won a Grammy in every category it was nominated for. Like, he did a whole sweep. Like, and I think the song may have done wonders because, one, it is a very LA anthem. It is a very Compton West Coast anthem that the West Coast, they love that song. Like, they live for that. I mean, everybody likes the song apparently, but I just want to say that it was definitely the thing for sure on the West Coast. And I think West Coast voters know it. Everybody knows that the beat is iconic. The lyrics are iconic. Y'all know how I feel about the song personally. But it is something that has become a cultural experience. And it was a number one hit. Everybody has seen the damn video. Everybody knows the song, know what's about the lyrics. It tells a story. The production, DJ Mustard's production on that song is very iconic. Like, you hear that sound, I mean, it's memorable. So in so many ways, yes and no. And what I mean by yes and no, what I mean by that is who should win, who would win. I was like, Kendrick should have won, right? But knowing the Academy, you just be like, they ain't gonna pick him. So you just give up, even though you know what it should be. And I felt like with this song in particular, it was one of those, we know he should win. Like, it is what should be record of the year. It embodies it. Now, to be honest with you, my record of the year, which wasn't even nominated, was Shabuzi Bar song, Tipsy. That should have won record of the year. I mean, arguably it was the biggest selling record of the year. It's the tied at number one on the Billboard charts for longest running number one of all time, next to Lil Nas X's Old Town Road. So we've been heading the country for a minute. I mean, Lil Nas X struggle and the things he dealt with trying to get into there. You know, it's like we forget that history sometimes. I think sometimes revisionist history forget, like, before Beyonce. I mean, Beyonce did have a moment in 2016. We can't forget that detail. But this wall that had been there, the way she talks about it, is cold, is people telling you where to be, where to place, where you should be in your place, until you can't go anywhere else. She's breaking those barriers and things. But it's tough. But Kendrick sweeping like that definitely was unexpected. Like, they named record of the year, he won record of the year, and I was like, oh, whoa. Okay, record of the year. But then when he won song of the year too, I said, wow, what is going on? But you know, this is big for Kendrick. I mean, for a guy who should have won album of the year over Bruno Mars for Damn. I mean, let's just be real. Kendrick should have won album of the year that year, not 24 Karat Magic. But you know. What do I know? I'm not a member of the voting academy. I'm not part of that 13,000 members who voted, right? But he won. He swept. I wasn't upset about it. I mean, I don't know. In my head, I could see Espresso winning record of the year. And I could see Birds of the Feather winning song of the year. That's how I probably would have voted. But here we are. What was also annoying though was the Dr. Dre love. I just cannot shake Dr. Dre off. I just don't see it for him. I don't really care for him. So for him they still have this Dr. Dre Global Impact Award. I don't even know why they still have it. I don't know why they name it after him. I don't even get the point of the award, to be honest. I just feel like it's just a way to get a celebrity in there, get some star power, make them feel like the Academy still loves them, I guess. But it's just like, we gotta talk about Dr. Dre though. So that just, yeah, the Dr. Dre, like everybody's just oblivious to the allegations around him and everything that's been circulating with Dr. Dre for years. Like I just, I'm not crazy about it. I'm not crazy about it. But I guess we're at the biggest part of the night. I mean, there was lots of surprise appearances. Oh, the weekend came after boycotting the Grammys for quite some time. Before he got on that stage, Harvey Mason Jr., who is the chairman, CEO of the Recording Academy, black guy, he gets up. He's giving his speech about the weekend, about how he heard Weeknd's complaints and all this and third, but brought the Weeknd back to perform at the Grammys, and that man had a huge set, and he killed it. He did his big one, so it's good to see that the Weeknd is back. I mean, he's been back musically, but the Academy, because when they just completely snubbed out after hours like that, I just knew something was off. I was like, wait, like how? I don't. Yeah, but the Weeknd is back into the fold, so it's going to be exciting to see how that plays off for his career. He's got a brand new album that sounds really good, by the way. So I'm curious to see how it plays out for him. To be honest, he's got talent, undeniable talent, and yeah, I like him. I support him. I do. I think he's the real thing. So more to come with him. Before I get into, well, first of all, shout out to Shakira. She won Latin Pop Album. Or yeah, I think that's the category called. She won in person. That was dope. Um, trying to think. Oh yes. So shout out to Diana Ross giving a Grammy to The Weeknd. No, sorry, to Kendrick Lamar. I'm just laughing at that. Like the idea of like Diana Ross was up there hearing them lyrics and then was like, yeah, congrats. I just hilarious to me. Um, but Charlie XCX's performance at the Grammys might be definitely one of the all-time greatest live show performances I've ever seen. And I don't say that lightly. She embodied what makes Brat a great album. She embodies it. Like that show, that performance, it was a party up in there. It was a rave. And I got a little scared, to be honest, because I was like, that sounds like a girl who was about to win album of the year in the next couple of minutes. Because after performing like that, you would think, okay, is she warming up before she has to present or receive the award? That wasn't even the case. Um, the first responders for album of the year showed up, and they were the special guests to announce the winner for album of the year, which was very sentimental and heartfelt for sure. Mm, mm. They named Cowboy Carter. They named the album first, and the announcer didn't I guess, announce it fully because I was ready to go the moment the show was over. But somebody said, "Stay around." I didn't put this outfit on for anything. I didn't put this outfit on for nothing. I didn't put this outfit on in vain. Let's figure this out. You know what I'm saying? Let's see how this plays out. That's how I was watching this part. Like, is they gonna announce Beyonce's name? That was where I was at. Like, are they gonna announce her? And when they said Cowboy Carter, you could hear the room burst out and roar. It felt. Listen, I don't care about sports. Y'all don't care about the NFL like that. Um, Y'all like the Super Bowl? This was like the Super Bowl. This is like seeing a team finally win the ring. Like, I guess y'all want Jalen Hurts to win. I guess we're all Eagles, right? I guess people are into Eagles. Um, but this even felt more because it's like the Susan Lucci win. It's like the win where after all these years, Beyonce is the first black woman to win Album of the Year in the 21st century. Like, there's been no black women prior to 1999 when Lauryn Hill won that has won Album of the Year outside of that. I'm still in awe. Like, I'm just processing the level of, like, I almost lost my voice. But just all these years, all this work. And I don't want to hear anything from anybody about like, well, this wasn't her best album. She should have won for another. Listen, we're not, listen. What do you all talk about your little Eagles players, your little fans of your football teams? A win is a win. A win is a fucking win. Okay? I mean, listen. She should, it ain't a whether which album she should have won for. The realty is that this honor reflects and embodies a lot of things. I think there's a case to be made for why she won Album of the Year. I think each of these things mean different things, right? So to me, she should have won previously for other categories. Like she should have won Album of the Year for self-titled. That year that she lost to Beck was ridiculous. She should have won that year over Beck easily. Should have won for that. Um, she definitely should have won for Lemonade. Adele's 25 was a massive seller, but she should have won for that. The first album that she was nominated for, I Am Sasha Fierce, Losing the Fearless, by Taylor Swift. I think in retrospect, Taylor Swift winning for that was probably one of her better wins. When she won for 1984 against Kendrick Lamar's September Butterfly, that to me was a little sticky. A little sticky. I see it because 1989 was a big iconic moment, but could have saw something differently. Folklore, I arguably think that was her, in my opinion, her most well deserved Grammy win. I think Folklore just embodied a lot at the time and creatively, artistically, I felt like Taylor Swift was in her element then. Midnight, she should not have won for Midnight. I no. SZA should have won that year. So overall, I see out of the 4 Album of the Year wins that Taylor Swift have, only 2 of them I would have kept, and the other ones they could have went away. Especially knowing what we know now. Billie Eilish already had one. Sabrina Carpenter, Short and Sweet, not yet, not ready for that. Not ready for that win. Who else was the major categories? I mean, Chaperone, she's a new rising star. She's got time. Yeah. I mean, I feel like most of the artists that were losing, I feel like they kind of sensed it based on direction of who was getting the wins out of the girls. So everything was pointed to that. I think the case for Beyonce's album, Cowboy Carter winning Album of the Year, to me, is that it was an album that was a very good album in the sense of what an album is, right? Like, we could argue, some people could argue and say, look, these songs didn't resonate for me. It was country. I'm not into country. Okay, that's just genre shit. But as an album, I would say this might have been one of Beyonce's most meticulous pieces of work because it pulls from a personal place, but it also pulls from a historical place. And it just shows the musicologist of Beyonce and how she was very intentional about how she created those songs, how she curated them, how she put them together. And it is not easy to convince somebody who's got a bunch of other things going on in their life, how to be graceful when you win, how to have, do all the things. She's just a natural at it. And so Beyonce has been working this for nearly 3 decades. She knows how to, if she really wants it. She dropped no visuals. She didn't even do the tour yet. Like, she didn't do anything yet prior to this campaign. Like, it's almost like she waited for this to get out the way before she came through. So, I've been a fan. I've been a fan. It's a long time coming. And it was nice to see her get her roses like that on that stage in front of all of those fans. All these people in the industry has been wanting her to get this award. And the way that she got it, because now it shuts the haters up. Everybody was for a long time being like, well, that's because Taylor Swift was in the category. Nope, Taylor was in there. Well, that's because Billie was in there. Like, all the major girls, the big artists were in that category this year. And they duked it out like a battle royale. Beyonce came through, Billie Eilish came through, Taylor Swift came through. They put out some music last year. They got them nominated. Um, Charlie XCX, I did like that album a lot. I thought it would be a little premature for her to get it above Beyonce, because like everybody keeps giving these newer artists these awards, and it's like at a certain point you start to ask yourself, what more can she do, or is that the point, right? But she won. She finally won, and that was exciting. That was impressive. I think. I mean, okay, a little sidebar. This has nothing to do with Beyonce, but one thing I thought was interesting and I found humorous throughout the night was J Lo. Right, J Lo had to get on stage. She's first of all spoke Spanish, and there's always been the whole controversy about her speaking Spanish and all that. But she got up on that stage and she had to present the award for best pop vocal performance. And J Lo's never won a Grammy before, but like not pop vocal. It was a best Latin pop album. She gave it to Shakira. Some of y'all be like, okay, who cares? What's up with Shakira? What's going on? This is because I don't know if y'all remember, but Shakira and J-Lo did a halftime show together. And J-Lo talks in her documentary about how she felt some type of way that she had to share a stage and collaborate, and she couldn't just get her own solo show. And it's like, girl, delusions of grandeur or what? Like, what's going on here, Ma? But she really, she did her big one. And so I was personally happy to see that win, for sure, for her, for Shakira. Because Shakira, I don't know if y'all follow her like that, but she's been through a lot. Shakira has been through a lot in her career, just in life, her breakup, her kids, her separation, all kind of stuff. So to see her be able to, at this point in her career, come back on top and to win the way she did, that was pleasant. That was pleasant to see. So I was definitely happy for her, on so many levels. But yeah, I think overall the Grammys this year was the best they've been in a long time. They definitely had some great suspense, some great excitement, some surprises, and it's just, that was major. I mean, to see Beyonce win a country album category, look, whatever Jay's speech was, it resonated with people. A lot of people thought that she wasn't going to win, that she might suffer for being swept out, from different categories, because a lot of people said that a lot of people didn't know what she could win, because no one saw her winning anything in the country category. They just assumed it. But this is an interesting time we're in. Miracles can happen. We need this joy. There's so much going on. It was just nice to see some people win, especially Black History Month. Like, to see some unresolved things like this Grammys like wrap some things up. Like now, we don't have to have the cloud of, oh, Beyonce does all this great music and she can't win album of the year because of this and because of that, because of racism. And that's over now. She finally won. And I think there was a part of her, she really was surprised, genuinely surprised. I think there's a part of her that was like, I don't want to get myself too excited. Let me get prepared to clap for somebody. Let me do, because she's so used to doing it. And so for her to finally have that moment like that, yeah, it was great. To be in a room, to be able to say, I was in the room when Beyonce finally won. I was in the same room, breathing the same air, that I was a part of that. I saw that history take place. That's priceless. That's priceless. That's definitely a core memory, as the kids say, for sure. But yeah, overall, the Grammys was great. I mean, for it to be something that was about service and mourning and all the different things that was about the occasion itself, to see them put on a show like that and nobody ripped each other apart, we love to see it. I love to see it personally. So yeah, Grammys was great. I overall, for all the things that was going on, around music's biggest night, I felt like the Grammys definitely did their big one. So kudos to them. And yeah, that's everything for me. And as always, be well and be best. Ernestly Speaking is recorded in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and can be found on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. To stay up to date with the latest on the show, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Mr. Ernest Owens. Use the hashtag Ernestly Speaking to tell me what you thought about this episode, and check out my website at ernestowens.com.